Good morning, gentlemen. Good to have you here with Spencer Boyd joining us from North Carolina, truck driving enthusiast in the NASCAR races, and Clayton Haas, four-time NFR qualifier. Gentlemen, how are you?
They're doing good. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, good to
Doing
see
well.
you. We're going to talk record rack, Bucks for the Brave, the big trip that goes on down at Trinity Oaks Thumbtack Ranch. Clayton, I know you haven't been yet, but Spencer, I know you have. I want you to set it up a little bit for us, how amazing this setup is and what it's like to go on this trip.
Yeah, I've been fortunate to go. This is coming up on my fourth trip down there to Trinity Oaks and Bucks for the Brave, the event. So much fun, and just from the start of the trip to the end, just what happens. The transformation, I think, is what gets me the most. You pick the veterans up from the airport, and you're just like, hey, what are these guys about? A little bit of the background, but you start just talking about stories and getting to know each other. And usually we kind of kick it off talking about racing because that's my background, and get to know one another. And next thing you know, we're hunting and hanging out by the bonfire, and there's tears shed and just friendships born. And so many of those guys I've become friends with and talked to 2 or 3 years down the road. And it's just a really special event.
Being the stories, and I think it's important for everybody to know, because all of these people you're on the trip with are retired from law enforcement, firefighters, every division of the military, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard. They have a lot of stories. And I think as much as the hunt is important, this bonding time, and when you mentioned it a little bit, getting to sit around and talk about life and how that opens up. Do you see people start to loosen up and share with you a little bit more while you're there?
Yeah, they do. Everyone, from my experience, the veterans, they kind of have a wall built up, right? Because it's not something that they jump to talk about as far as, what they've seen or what they did. So just kind of loosening up over time. And the stories, they're talking about their kids and wives and family. And most of them come from military family background, so many generations. And they start talking about, grandparents and how, they got into the military and what it meant to them, and why they did what they did. And as it goes on, those tears come out, and you start talking about what the military did for them, and the things that maybe they aren't comfortable talking about, but the life experiences that they, gave up for us and for me and Clayton, and what we can go do every weekend because of those men and women in the military. So, like I said, it's not just about the hunt. The hunt is a lot of fun. These guys love going out there, and, there's so much more to it with the bonfire and shooting clay birds, and just getting to know one another and just show our appreciation. And the more that they realize that we appreciate their sacrifice and what they've done, the more they open up, and we just become friends. And it's like a fast forward experience, because you feel like you've known these guys forever after a week.
Right. Clayton, I got to ask you, I know you probably had the opportunity to talk to Dakota or Heath DeMoss and some of these guys that already go on the trip. How excited are you get to spend time with these veterans?
I'm very excited. I hated I didn't get to. I was supposed to go last year and then ended up getting canceled. And looking very forward to this fall to spend some time down there. I mean, it's amazing what these guys have done for our country, and they serve for us, and lose time away from their family, lose friends, and they do it every day. And I'm interested to hear the stories and just to give back to those guys, because they've given so much to us.
Now, I want you to talk more about that, because you come from a rodeo background, outdoor lifestyle, but you sit at these rodeos and they start everyone, paying tribute to this country. And I know you're a big American, and you value what they've done because you're a father and you've got kids, and it's important for you to spend time with. Talk a little bit about that, just the fact that these people sacrifice so much for you.
Man, it's amazing. That's one thing I can say about rodeo hasn't got away from. We started a rodeo with a prayer, and we started a rodeo with the national anthem. We support this country. And 90% of the time we got a guy parachuting in that's a paraplegic that has lost a limb in the service for us. And these guys are still coming out and supporting and living strong for our country. And it's pretty amazing to experience that pretty much daily for us, because it seems like we're at a rodeo every day.
Now you spent most of your life going fast on the back of a horse, but you got to experience a little horsepower going up to the Texas Motor Speedway and spending time with Spencer in the number 20 Chevrolet. Tell me about that and the overlap of the two industries and what that was like. I want you to kind of tell me what that was like being at that track and down the pits with those.
You know, when I got invited to go watch that race, I never spent any time really around race cars or anything, and wasn't sure what I'd actually think about it. But after spending a day with Spencer and the Record Rack team down there, it's like, man, kind of a fan. You don't actually understand what they're going through mentally, physically, what all goes into getting that truck ready, and it's pretty amazing how fast they get stuff done and what these guys are putting themselves through. Just like everybody says, I'm crazy for jumping off a good horse to a cow. And I mean, you think about Spencer and them guys are 160 degrees in that truck and run around that track for 3 hours. I mean,
right.
You don't put that in perspective when you're sitting there watching on TV. You're like, oh, that guy's driving fast around that track. Right. Then you get there and watch it and you see he's going really, really fast around that track. And what he's doing, it's pretty amazing. And I think you're a fan for life now.
Spencer, same question. I know you've been to the American, you've been to the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo, and he talked about it. You watch him jump off these horses, a little different atmosphere than what you do. But talk about that watching and what kind of fan you've become of the sport of rodeo.
Yeah, I love it. I was at the rodeo last night here locally in North Carolina, and always been a fan. But when you can go to the NFR or the American, I mean, that's the Super Bowl, that's the Daytona 500. It's so cool to be there. Like Clayton said, starting off with the prayer and the national anthem, we do the same thing in NASCAR. There's really a big crossover between NASCAR and the rodeo. And you look at a lot of other sports, it's not quite the same. So to be able to celebrate what the military has done for us and allowed us to go chase our dreams, whether it's jump off good horses on the cows or drive race cars around the track. But it's just a good time. And the fact that both sports pay tribute to those men and women and what they've done makes me proud to be a part of it and proud to be a fan of the rodeo.
Clayton, we talk a lot about military, but as we've added in the last couple of years, the law enforcement and firefighters, talk about them, the first responders, and how important they are and what they go through for us in sacrifice.
Oh man, the first responders, firefighters, they're so important for our country. And I mean, a lot of people probably don't know about myself. I actually went to fireman school, medic school. I just chose a different path, obviously, to do my life. But so I got in the spirits a little bit of what them guys go through, and people have no idea. I mean, the all-nighters fighting fires, and they too have the PTSD of they see a lot of stuff, and a lot of stuff that goes down they don't want to happen. There's stuff that happens that they have no control of, and it's them guys are important. My one side of my family, I mean, we have a lot of law enforcement in that side of the family, so I kind of get to see a little bit of that firsthand as well.
Spencer, your thoughts? I know you have a great heart for the firefighters and the men and women in blue. Talk about them, if you will.
Yeah, for me, as someone who drives a race car, and I've been on fire before, and the firefighter's first one to the car when that happens. So, don't want to forget about those guys and gals, law enforcement, first responders. They do so much. And, when things happen here in the States, right, whether, you need an ambulance or you're in a car accident, those guys and gals are there every time, first on the scene. So nominate them, retired. They deserve the opportunity to go out there and harvest an animal and experience Trinity Oaks from Record Rack. It's going to be a great time.
Cargill, Neutrino, Record Rack continues to give. Even last year when a lot of the stock contractors were struggling to feed their animals, they gave there. But this time with you guys hunting, I don't know if most people know this. When you harvest an animal, most people go, I don't know what they really do with it. It's important to understand because you guys are taking that meat, great protein, lean protein, and giving it to other people. Tell me more about that, Spencer.
Yeah, the folks down at Trinity Oaks, they do a great job raising, beautiful whitetail and exotics. But obviously we're all down there getting to know each other, having a great time, harvesting animals. But another important part of that is what you do. We're not just down there harvesting deer. It's what we do with it and giving that meat back to families in need. And obviously, if you've ever had venison it's amazing. It's a great meat, like you said, lean meat. So what the guys down at Trinity Oaks do is really special, and it's fun to just be a part of it, really.
Yeah. Clayton, is there an aspect of your life that that you kind of portray into this whole hunting thing? Is this something that you have done from childhood outdoors? I know you're a cowboy, but when it comes to hunting, what is the favorite part that you love about that?
Oh man, I'm a very avid hunter, and it's not all about the harvest either. I mean, it's just to get out in nature. I like to go up in the mountains and hunt elk, and I grew up hunting whitetail there with my family and around Texas and stuff. But just that before, I think we were kids, you understood it was like, oh, you wanted to harvest something, and now, I mean, heck, so one of my favorite things is to get up there early in the morning and then watch the world wake up. I mean, when the sunlight breaks and the birds start chirping and the animals start moving, and it's a pretty wild experience. Like last year I took my kids, and I'm like, it's not about killing, but we're going to go hike in here and we're going to go hunt and just let y'all see what actually nature is. And it's pretty awesome to be raised that way and get a better understanding of what's going on.
Yeah, I think when I first talked to Jody Cornelson about this, and she kind of had the brainchild of this program, 6 years, by the way, that was the thing I heard most, was the bonding atmosphere. I mean, they use the ranch, they use the animals, but the bonding atmosphere between all of you and all these veterans, and as you mentioned, your kids. But man, I watched Heath DeMoss tell stories with tears in his eyes about some of these people, and Dakota as well. And I can't tell you how important it is for all of us to be involved in this. But when listen to me, folks, when you start to think about that person in your life, and you two know people that have retired from any division of the military, law enforcement, firefighters, you need to nominate them. And they're already open. The nominations are already open. They go through September 12th. So we can do that. It's on sportsmanschoicefeed.com. Or you can Google Bucks for the Brave. You'll find it there and click through. But, everybody, I'm confident everybody knows somebody that should be nominated for this trip. And it is a trip of a lifetime. The grounds there, the atmosphere, what a great opportunity, and a tip of the hat for everybody at Record Rack. Gentlemen, I could go on with both of you. Clayton, I know you're out in Idaho right now getting ready, and Spencer, you're right in the middle of race season. But is there anything, I'll let you go first, Clayton, that you'd like to add before we leave of how important this is to nominate now?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very important to nominate now, because in a way, we don't know what the people are struggling, and this could be it could be life-changing for them, not as well just us. And it could be something that can get them over the hump. We know a lot of these our troops are fighting PTSD, and getting out and be able to do it. It could change their life as well as ours.
Yeah, Spencer, your thoughts on the therapeutic side of this and how important this trip is? Yeah,
just coming off of what Clayton said, PTSD is a real deal, and going on my 4th trip down there, that's a word that is common and commonly brought up, and the fact that they're able to open up. So what this trip can do for your loved one or your friend, it's time to nominate. Go to recordrack.com, do it, and look forward to joining some guys and gals down there at Trinity Oaks. And once you cross that river, your life can change forever.
Man, I believe it. Absolutely. It is all about therapy and giving back here. And gentlemen, I can't thank you enough. Spencer, I know you've got a long season ahead of you in the trucks. You're also going to do some car races, 5 or 6 of those. Wish you best of luck there. Clayton, you've got a rest of the season to go to get back to the Wrangler National Finals. So we wish you the best of luck there. And both of you enjoy the trip. Can't thank you enough. I want to remind everybody to go online, nominate somebody right now, sportsmanschoicefeed.com. Just Google Bucks for the Brave. You'll find it there, the 6th annual trip. And remember, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, law enforcement, firefighters must be retired. Trip of a lifetime. Thank you so much, gentlemen. God bless you and have a great week.